William, you have to wake up.
What? Just give me a couple more minutes.
You have no time to waste. We have a new episode of Garden Time. Welcome to Garden Time. As you can see, we're in the lazy days of summer.
You know, it is a great time of year to go out in your hammock, in your garden, and enjoy the cool of the morning because it will get hot.
Speaking of hot, this week we talk about summer drought stress on your trees and shrubs, and we'll show you how to make more rose bushes from your current roses. But first, letting in the sunshine with sunflowers.
Well, here we are in August, and I'm at Portland Nursery, and it's a hot day, but I'm inside the greenhouse with Sarah, and the fans are on. So, Sarah, it's really nice in here. There's a little breeze.
It's a little bit of a break, and, you know, we've got some plants here that love this heat and sun.
Do.
So we wanted to show you a little bit about those today.
And so we have sunflowers, and we have rudbeckias. So let's talk about the sunflowers first.
That's a great idea. This one here, I'm in love with. I think I'm taking home. It's part of the new Sunbelievable series.
Okay.
And this one's called Brown Eyed Girl.
Cute.
Perfect little name for it. And it just keeps blooming and blooming and blooming and blooming and blooming. So This one's gonna have just profuse flowers. And I especially just love the foliage. It's a little more enticing than the usual sunflower.
A little wave to it, and it really adds a lot of character to the plant.
I think so, yeah. More of a shrubby than just kind of like the tall flower.
And you know, we talk about tall ones, so if we didn't get our seeds going, these are really nice to put in because you could still have sunflowers in your garden if those seeds didn't work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice. And so you have a couple other ones here.
Yeah, this one is a Little Becca, and it's got kind of a red tint to it there. So I think it just gives it a little bit different look. I mean, you can use it with the classic yellow sunflower to complement, or you can use it on its own for kind of a little bit more fall look.
Definitely. And this one's really different. It's kind of fun that it's way off the charts for sunflowers.
It is a little different. Yeah, it's got kind of like a peachy maroon color to it. So it's just got almost like antique kind of look.
It does, very much.
Like a rustic sunflower look to it. And with all of these, you're going to want to give them a lot of sun.
Sure.
Definitely full sun, lots of water, and they're really heavy feeders. So they're going to need, you know, those fertilizer to keep going and going all summer and fall.
Oh, really? And it really is going to be something to have in the garden. But then we have something that looks like a sunflower. So what's this one?
Yeah, rudbeckias are common, you know, kind of look like sunflower. You see the goldstrom all over town.
Right.
And it's beautiful. But this one's a little bit different. It's a brand new one. It's got this unique petal, which is why we chose it, because they look like little tubes as they're unrolling, and it's got a good color. So we thought that one was a little fun. You could mix that with any of these as well.
Definitely. And what's the name of this one?
Oh yes, this one is the Electroshock.
Really nice. And so we need to deadhead them, of course.
Yes, deadheading is another major thing you need to do for both the rudbeckias and the sunflowers to keep those good blooms coming up.
So, you know, these are wonderful varieties, and there are two Portland nurseries, one on Division, one on Stark. So please call ahead because, you know, they sell fast. It's the summertime. And you can go to gardentime.tv and click over to the Portland Nursery website for that phone number and directions. Thanks so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Garden Time's Incredible Edibles.
So I am standing here with Joyce, and she is from Northwest Organic Farms. Now, first of all, this place overwhelmed me when we came in here to film here because of this selection of tomatoes alone. So let's talk a little bit about this farm, what it is you grow, and give me some information about it.
Okay, one of the main crops we have are heirloom tomatoes. We have about 20 different varieties.
Wow.
And he also does garlic. We have about 6 varieties of those. And then most of the other vegetables that you can buy any place. Peppers, carrots, corn, raspberries.
All of that stuff. Yeah.
And we have a CSA. And the farm is open on Thursday if anyone wants to come and purchase anything.
So first of all, you said he. I'm assuming that there's someone else involved here besides you. So who is he and what does he do? So the gentleman you're pointing at is actually your husband.
Yes. Greg.
He does the farming and the planting and the all of that stuff?
Everything. Him and his two brothers.
Why heirlooms? Was there something special about that?
Well, when we first started thinking about growing tomatoes, of course, Greg says, oh, probably we ought to do Romas.
Yeah.
Well, I said, you know, you get 50 cents a pound for Romas retail.
Right.
Think what you're going to get wholesale.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so we happened to see heirloom tomatoes and just decided. I took a basket and went to an upscale grocery store and showed them, and they said, oh, yeah,
We'll sell those.
we'll sell those.
So then, where can people buy stuff like this at then that you bought, that you
Chuck's
grow?
Produce on Highway 99 in Vancouver, and then there's 3 Zupan markets in Portland.
Wonderful.
On 23rd and in Macadam and Lake Oswego.
But then also in the harvesting season, every Thursday you guys do harvest, and you let people come in.
They can
Anybody
come here.
can come in and buy at that time right here at the
Yes,
farm.
and you can buy number 1s, and then also for the people that like to can, you can buy the canning tomatoes.
Wonderful. Now, the fun thing here, though, Joyce, is because you have a wonderful annual event. Tell me what that is.
It's the Heirloom Tomato and Garlic Festival. And the Master Gardeners come, and Greg and his brothers, they set up all the tents, and Nancy Funk is in charge, and the volunteers come. They cut the tomatoes. You can taste all the tomatoes. They even have a little survey that says, which tomato did you like best? Or
Nice.
which garlic did you like best?
And it's not just the tomatoes and the garlic that people can taste, which is really wonderful, but it's an actual event. You have
it is.
food and
We have
music and all
vendors.
kinds of fun.
Yep. And it's free.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. And it is busy. I mean, you guys are doing hundreds of people.
We do. It's really a blessing that,
Yeah.
you know, so many people have supported the farm, because we started out with just garlic.
Oh, wow.
And we learned real quick, you can't live on garlic alone.
It's adorable. I love that you said you learned that. That's adorable. Well, for more information on this really amazing event, you can go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to the website. You can gather all that information. Come on out, enjoy, taste some amazing tomatoes, some garlic, and then buy some, take it home, and enjoy it in your own house. Joyce, what a delight. Thank you, my friend.
Oh, thank you. And you know, I have to thank Ariel, because she's the one that does all the Facebook and
She's the one that makes it happen,
everything.
doesn't
And she made the sign for the little kids. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Perfect.
She couldn't do it without her.
Well, now you can come out and see it all for yourselves. Thank you, Joyce.
You betcha.
Welcome to Blooming Junction, where it's easy to connect with nature. At Blooming Junction, you'll find beautiful, healthy plants, good, fresh food, and a place to regain peace and calm in your life. We have an unsurpassed collection of unique and distinctive plants and the expertise to help any gardener be successful. And we feature Blooming Advantage plants. Come check out Blooming Junction for an inspiring experience in the garden or in the kitchen. Blooming Junction, offering quality plants for beautiful gardens.
Nothing is more inviting than a garden full of beautiful clematis, and your chance to see the Queen of Vines is at the Rogerson Clematis Garden at Lusher Farms. To learn more about the garden, get directions, or learn about garden events, go to rogersonclematiscollection.org.
I am at Smithberry Barn today with Joelle and Rich, and we have a delicious recipe with peaches. But before we get to the recipe, I want to ask Joelle. So I'm at the store. How do I select a delicious peach?
So the first thing that you want to look at is actually the tip where it has come off of the branch, and you're looking for it to be more golden in color. If you can see these two, one's a little bit more green and the other has a little more golden all the way to the center. We're looking for that golden color. The thing that you don't want to do is squeeze the peach.
Oh, no.
And so if you notice, some of these have squeeze marks on them.
yeah, they're bruised.
They do bruise very easily. So we prefer that people just gently pick them up, look at that center there, and then pick their peach based on that color.
And it is peach season, and it's a long season.
It is a very long season. So we source locally from several different farms in our area, and we have peaches all the way into mid-September, different varieties throughout the summer.
And so what is the recipe today? Because it looks like it's going to be wonderful.
So today we're going to be grilling peaches and finishing off, them off with a little mascarpone and some honey and a little basil.
Ah, okay, so let's get started.
All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to slice the peach in half. And what we're hoping for is that we've chosen a nice freestone peach. And if we twist like that, it comes right off. And if I have my muscles today,
Good fingernails.
I don't have good fingernails right now.
Just pop it right off.
I'll do that one a little bit later. So we're
Okay.
going to try one more.
And really, that it doesn't make a difference. You could just the peach is delicious as it is, and will be the same recipe.
It is. So what we're looking for is a medium ripe peach. That one came out much easier. So we're looking for a medium ripe peach. We don't want it to be too overripe or it will collapse a little bit on the grill. We're going to be basting with a little bit of olive oil on the cut side as well as the skin side.
Both sides, okay.
We'll actually be grilling the cut side first. What we're looking for is nice toasty grill marks on that cut side of the peach.
All right, and I'm going to ask Rich. Rich, so what kind of temperature or what kind of a grill do we need these?
Just a normal barbecue grill, and I have it at a medium high. We're going to cook the cut face for about 10 minutes, and then we'll flip them over for 5 to 7, depending on the peach.
And do we have to do anything to the grill, especially?
So I've pre-seasoned the grill with olive oil, so I just wipe it all down. We're doing it to the peaches and to the grill just to avoid sticking.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're
we're
just
very
painting
close.
all
I
that.
still
All
have
right.
that pit stuck in there. I'm going to have to get out. But we are hitting with a little bit of pepper, fresh ground pepper, and then we will be salting with a little bit of our Himalayan pink sea salt.
Oh, and that is really a nice treat to have that special salt.
And then these will go directly onto the grill, face down, just like we talked about, for about 10 minutes on one side and then 5 minutes on the final on the back side. And then we'll bring them out and dress them up.
Ah, so we'll be back in just a few minutes and finish up the recipe. So Rich, those peaches came out beautiful. So to recap, how long were they on the grill?
They actually cooked for about 12 minutes on the cut face side, and then just a couple minutes on the other.
Ah, well, they are nice, and so now we're going to finish them off and make them yummy, yummy.
This is
So
the
what is
good
the rest
part.
of the recipe?
So the rest of the recipe is a little bit of mascarpone cheese right in the middle there.
And that's kind of like a soft.
It's a softened
cheese,
cream cheese,
Italian
an Italian,
cheese.
yes, it's very tasty. Then we're going to drizzle with a little bit of our honey.
Wow.
And then I like to finish it off with some fresh herbs. We can use anything that you like, really. Mint is really good. Today we're going to be using some fresh basil. And so I have my special herb scissors here.
Great.
And they will create a chiffonade, which is long, thin strips if we cut it whole this way.
Well, they make it even easier to make this recipe.
They do. And then it just comes right off there as a top dressing. And that's it.
Oh, it looks tasty but beautiful too, so that's really
Exactly.
great. And you know, at Smith Barrier Barn, you can get many of these things to help you make this delicious recipe at home. Peaches are going to be ready until when? They're going to be here?
About mid-September, through
so-
mid-September.
So there's a really long time to come out and get peaches and really enjoy the summer with grilling. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
I've been a Capital Subaru customer for 15 years, and one of the main reasons is because they treat me well and I want to shop local. The service department is excellent, and I always feel like I'm taken care of here. In fact, they call me now even after I've driven off the lot to remind me to come in and get my car washed. That's service. One of the reasons why I like coming to Capital Subaru, actually, they have the dog area, and I can just walk my dog around the whole area and we can enjoy the outside. I got it my way on the Parkway.
The fields are in bloom and looking beautiful.
We welcome everyone to come visit us here at Swan Island Dahlias.
Stop by Swan Island Dahlias in Canby and stroll the 40 acres of blooms. And don't forget the Dahlia Festival the last weekend in August and Labor Day weekend. During the festival, you can see over 400 cut flower displays, enjoy specialty foods, and see flower arranging demonstrations.
Swan Island Dahlias is located in Canby.
Just minutes south of Portland.
Come see us!
Well, I think most of us now know that it is indeed summertime, so we wanted to talk to Lyle from the Bartlett Tree Experts about specific damage that may occur on large specimens like trees and shrubs, and what we can do to notice it or get help, or what we do about it.
Correct. So this time of the year, with this excessive heat that we're experiencing, you're really going to start seeing the conifers changing colors, especially if they had a drought stress last year. You're going to see some exaggerated drought stress this year, especially if there was nothing done to mitigate that stress from last year.
And so let's make that clear to people, because I think we get confused a lot, that we think, well, you know, last summer it was a drought, but then it rained as normal. We have a lot of rain, so that took care of that drought. But that's not really correct, is it?
Correct. We have to think of watering, and like a lot of people get confused that, oh my God, we had a lot of rain this winter, and now it's why is my tree droughting? It's like kind of like saying, okay, drink this 6-gallon jug of water in May, you should be good till August.
Right, because you won't be.
You won't be. It leaves. It's
Right.
used up. It's moving. Water's always flowing.
So then what does one do? How do you recognize that maybe it's not just a new struggle, but it might be a past one? What are some tells that they can look for?
So you're going to see some wilting leaves on deciduous trees. You're going to see a tree just won't look as vigor.
Right.
You're going to start seeing color changes. You look up against healthy trees, and you'll see kind of a tinted green on especially conifers and things like that, and the wilting needles and such.
Yeah, they really, and I maybe just over time I've learned it, but I can see when they're almost dull looking.
Right.
There's no vibrancy to them.
Exactly, yep.
And so then what does it do though? I mean, how do you water enough to get that done?
So that's a great question. So really with mature trees, it's not realistic to bring your hose out and water a Douglas fir. A Douglas fir on a hot day will be taking up around 800 to 1,200 gallons of water.
Oh, wow.
You literally can't stand there in that day and water that tree to have it survive. It's really keeping the vigor up, fertilization. It's really the keeping vigor is the number one thing on conifers.
And on fertilization, it's not like you can mix up some Miracle Grow in a bucket and pour on a tree and think, I've covered this, is it?
Correct. Fertilization is becoming more of a science, and we really have to look at fertilization as soil health care. And so one of the things that we recommend at Bartlett Tree Experts is we're looking at what does a soil need. So we're looking at the science of the soil, and we all have different soils. Every property was constructed differently. Soils scraped off, soils added, mulches added, and so we really want to know what we have in the soil. So soil testing is the first step. Once you find out what's in the soil, then you can start identifying what does the plant that you're going to put in that soil need.
Right.
And we build our soil health program based on that aspect. So it's all about the science versus haphazardly throwing fertilizer,
Just on it
nitrogen
randomly,
on randomly. So.
And then once you get all that information, there's still a chance though that if you didn't take care of the tree or the shrub before, it just isn't going to make it possible.
Correct. Drought, depending on the longevity of the drought, so you can have drought last year and not done anything, and now you're seeing it severe this year, you may not be able to pull that tree out.
And then what do you guys do? When you come out and talk to people, you'll come out and be able to tell what all of this is going on, and you can look and see, we can save this one, we can't save this one, and work with the clients.
Built based on experience and things like that, we can build prescriptions to help mitigate that stress from that through soil health care, through insect disease treatments and things like that. Because one thing that happens when you have stress on a tree, deciduous or conifer, is you have opportunist insects now affecting it.
Right.
So you really you have secondaries coming in that are giving you the notice that the tree is dying, but the actual incident was the drought the previous year.
Yeah. Well, you know, it might be confusing, and to some of us it really is. I know it is to me. So for more information on how you can find out what's really going on, not only in your soil, but in your yard, we suggest you go to gardentime.tv. We will click you over to the Bartlett Tree Expert website. Have them come out, take a look, and help them make your garden as beautiful as you want it to be. Lyle, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
Hi, I'm Sarah with Portland Nursery, and I'd like to invite you to check out our website where you'll find valuable gardening information that you know is local to our area. Check out our Gardening Solutions page where you'll find over 100 helpful brochures, or sign up for our email newsletter to receive timely gardening advice, inventory updates, and upcoming classes and events. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people. On 50th and Stark, 90th and Division.
Stop and smell a rose, hear a child laugh, see the beauty that is Oregon. You will find all this and more at the Oregon Garden in historic Silverton. 400-year-old oaks, edible landscapes, a children's garden. The Oregon Garden has something for everyone. You can ensure the garden remains a jewel in the Mid-Willamette Valley through your support as an individual, family, or corporate member. Support the garden that showcases the diverse botanical beauty of our state, the Oregon Garden.
Why do the finest builders shop at Standard TV and Appliance?
We've been partners with Standard for years. They really align with our mission because as a company, our mission is to provide the best quality customer service, customer care. Without that, I don't think our relationship would have lasted this long.
Standard can make your dream kitchen a reality, setting the standard since 1947. Standard TV and Appliance.
Nothing is more inviting than a garden full of beautiful clematis, and your chance to see the Queen of Vines is at the Rogerson Clematis Garden at Lusher Farms. To learn more about the garden, get directions, or learn about garden events, go to rogersonclematiscollection.org.
So on this beautiful day, I am standing here with Rachel in the International Rose Test Garden, and we are going to be talking about something that I've never talked to anyone here before myself about, but it's the propagation of roses. And you're going to give us some tips on why you can do it, why you should do it if you want to, and how to do it mostly.
Yeah, so this is a really easy way to do it. I mean, certainly probably very homeowner friendly. Anyone can do this. I know sometimes when you move away, you want to take that special rose with you, but you know, digging up that whole plant is tough, so why not take a cutting? This is perfect for science experiments, for kids and that type of thing. So if you want, I can give you a little demo if you'd like.
I would love a primer on this, yes.
So we're actually going to take, vegetative cuttings, which means the actual leaves. And one thing I want to also point out is these are actually going to be on their own roots, meaning they're not budded to a rootstock. So most roses are budded to a rootstock that is not the rose, that's usually Dr. Huey. So it's a different rose than what you see.
Right. And for my own clarification, let me make sure if you're saying budded, you mean, is that what I used to call grafted?
Yes,
okay.
That's exactly right.
So the rootstock is not this rose.
Exactly. And the benefit of that is it just creates a more vigorous plant.
Okay.
But if you have like a climate that's really harsh winters, you know, I'm from back east in Philadelphia, and oh man, we just had a bad winter last year.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it dies back, and you're getting Dr. Huey, one of the rootstocks.
You won't get that rose.
Yeah,
but if it's on its own roots, no matter what happens, if it comes back, it'll come back.
It'll come back as that, absolutely.
That makes sense.
So just want to clarify that. So this is just a really easy way. All you really need is you need a plastic bag, a Ziploc bag, and just fill it up with the soil. Anything
specific,
nothing
just a potting
specific,
soil.
just specific, nothing specific. And so I'm going to ask your help
I
here.
I will be the helper.
All right. So I have some water. The most important thing is to keep it moist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some water in there. And then I'm going to actually shake it up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So
now,
do the little shake and dance.
I'm assuming that you don't want it floating in water. You're just moistening the soil.
Just moistening it up. Yeah. So you see how it's fogging up right here? It's kind of humid. So it's creating kind of like a greenhouse effect.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take our cutting. Let's see, is that moist enough? There, that's just fine. And I'm going to take, I'm actually going to pick it at a cutting that has just bloomed, kind of like you would deadhead it. And so let's see, let's find a good one right here. So this one, it's the end of its bloom period. And basically it's producing a chemical for bloom production that we actually want to pull from up here and pull it down here to create root development.
You're telling me the rose knows that it's going to make this chemical in itself now because these are starting to die off, and you want that
exactly.
to still, okay.
You want to bring it down that way, and so that brings us to our rooting hormone,
okay,
which helps produce that. And so actually what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut off the bottom leaves, and I always cut off the bloom because, you know, otherwise it's going to put its energy into the bloom development.
Making seeds and stuff, or bud,
exactly.
Okay.
So I'm going to... And I always find it works best if you just leave a little bit of foliage at the top.
Okay.
And the most important thing is to know that you want to have at least 1 or 2 nodes into the soil. And the node is basically where the foliage is grown off of.
Right.
So right there. All right, and we're going to start with the two nodes, and I'm just going to take my rooting hormone to kind of
Did you get it?
aid it in its production. This is actually a little gel that comes in all sorts of different forms, and you can just get it at your local garden center.
So you're just
put it at
tapping
the bottom.
the particles
Yeah,
cut.
you actually more is less is more.
Okay.
So you kind of don't want too much, so you kind of want to put off the excess. You might have noticed that there are powders out there, so
Right.
that's probably typically what you see. And what you're going to do is then just take the cutting and you're just going to push it down. And like I said, make sure those nodes are in the soil.
So at least 1 or 2 of those are deep enough. So you have to get a
Absolutely.
good 7, 8 inches maybe
Yes,
up the
exactly.
stem. All right.
So you're going to have a lot of soil. And then, actually, I'm going to take my glove off for this. You're actually going to seal it up. And actually, probably one of the zipper ones would work better, but this is what I had in my drawers.
I'll help you too there.
Well, thank
we
you.
got it from both sides.
All right, and so one thing I want to stress is don't open the bag. It's actually creating this moist, you can kind of see it fogging up, greenhouse effect. And if you open it, you're actually going to allow disease to come in.
So then, and all the moisture will get out at the same time. Okay.
Exactly.
Just leave it shut for how long?
For about a month.
Wow,
And what
wow.
you'll do is you'll actually, just to be safe.
Yeah.
And what you'll see is you'll actually see the roots growing in the soil because it's a clear plastic bag.
And that's the thing that I often fail on is I can't see what's happening. I'm going to assume this is great because you'll go, oh, there's the roots. It's time to do something.
It's really great, and usually you'll know pretty quickly, maybe within the first week or the second week. And if it dies, then you know your cutting didn't take.
Yeah.
But basically, if it's 2 weeks and it's still green, the foliage is still green, more than likely it's going to take, and then you'll just start seeing that root.
So then, Rachel, this might seem like a silly question, but where do the roots come from? The bottom? Is that
They're actually going to come from the nodes.
where the leaves grow from?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
exactly. That's why you have to be in the soil.
And then once that root starts, you just open it up and plant it into like a pot or something to
Yep.
help it grow on.
That's easy. Yep, right?
Wow.
Really
It
easy
is
to do.
very easy. So there, you know, I can't believe how easy this was. When they said we're going to propagate roses, I thought, oh, are we going to be in a structure somewhere? No, this was simple. It's something we can all do. You can do it with your kids, and you can teach them even about the beauty of science in roses. Always a pleasure being here with you. Thank you, Rachel.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Hey.
Hey, you snooze, you lose.
Oh, here.
Oh, but aren't you sweet?
You know, we just wanted to remind you that this is the time of year when we can enjoy all of that hard work we do in our gardens. So get out there and enjoy the gardens, enjoy your family and friends, and enjoy life.
If you have any other questions about today's show or want to watch it again, please go to gardentime.tv.
We so much thank you for watching the show today, and we will do this again next week, right here on Garden Time.
The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.